Today's episode is brought to you by the DUnity Group of Atlanta, your ultimate business resource solution in competing for government-based contracts and grants. For more information, send all inquiries to info@theunitygroup.com. Once again, for more information, send all inquiries to info@theunitygroup.com.
Good afternoon. Welcome. Today we have a special guest today on the Better You Network, Corey Moore, the tax guy and pro networker. And he is being sponsored by DUnity Group for today. And we're going to be talking about some new and interesting ways that he's helped diversify his business. And Corey, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I truly enjoy being here.
And it did rain today. We have this running joke with Mr. Moore when it comes to rain, and we will get more in depth into that later on. But when we said we were going to have Corey on the show today, it rained. That's all I got to say right now.
Do you have some Native American in you? Usually, it's
I may.
Yeah, now you may now. You can claim that, right?
Yes.
So, Corey, how did you get into your business?
Probably just like a lot of other people. I was working a full-time job, hated it, and ended up getting let go. And then I said, you know what? This is my opportunity now to go off on my own, start my own, and create my own, and start doing some of the things that I'm passionate about. So that happened in 2002. And I have been a serial entrepreneur ever since then.
So tell us a little bit about your background, education, where'd you work corporate-wise?
Went to Morehouse, graduated in 99. First job out of college was with Philip Morris, the tobacco company. So yes, I was pushing cigarette sticks or cancer sticks, as people like to call them. I did that for 3 years. Learned a lot. It was a very busy job. I was more kind of a consultant at the job, to where, we had the number one product. So as I started talking to business owners, store owners, I was more of a consultant. I think that's what kind of shaped me, being able to start talking to people about their business and trying to help their, increase revenues, things of that nature. So did that for 3 years. Like I said, ended up leaving them. And then started pursuing my passion in entrepreneurship. It's funny, while I was in corporate America, I always knew I wanted to have a business, but really didn't know what I wanted to do. So then when I, got let go, that gave me an opportunity to really start getting out there and start meeting people, started, networking more, and just really started hearing more about people's experiences, which kind of shaped, kind of where I'm at now. So.
Besides rain, what was your motivation?
No, you're going to beat me up. And I deserve it. I deserve it. For me, I've always thought of myself as fairly creative. Not the smartest person in the world, but I think that I have my moments. Very aggressive. Love money. Love, and not really just a piece of paper, but really for me, the opportunity that money brings. I'm a person who just loves choices.
Okay.
I love options. I like being able to know that I have the option to do something, which most people do. So for me, what I learned very quickly is that if you wanted options, you need to have money. And the more money you had, the more options you had. And for me, I like multiple options.
Yeah, so do you know that Chris... the comedian Chris Rock's motto is that it's not all about the money; it's about the options that the money brings you.
Exactly, and that's really what it is. For me, even now, there's certain things that I just don't like doing, and I don't feel like I have to do them. If I don't like doing them, I don't feel like I have to do them. And typically, money is tied to those things. So I say, you know what, let me go ahead and make whatever type of money I need to make so that I can have the options to do what I want to do. So,
well, let me ask you this. If money was not an option, what would you like to do?
And actually, I'm very fortunate right now that I'm living kind of my passion. With the two businesses that I have, one, the tax service, which, I love educating people about their money. I like helping people anyway. Someone who deals with helping people with their money, that I enjoy doing. And then the newly formed business, Pro Networker, where we're doing the networking events and talking to people about it, increasing their network. Oh, that that I love. I mean, I truly, every time that I'm a part of an event or speaking about it, I just feel it inside of how much I truly enjoy doing it. So for me, once money is no longer an issue, I will probably still be doing that. So
So have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur since you were little?
I have. I always knew that my stepfather, he owned his own business. And with that, I saw the flexibility that he had, kind of the power that he had in his business, kind of looked up to that. So ever since, a very young age and learned about money, I was always interested in money. And when I learned that, if you were an entrepreneur, you can typically control the amount of money that you have coming in, more so than if you worked for somebody, then I said, okay, yeah, that's the way to go for me. So.
All right, that's great. And in that aspect, what's been your greatest reward from doing this?
Really, the people that I've met, the relationships that I've met. Like I am truly having fun right now. I look at all the different relationships that I've created with people, the opportunities that we've had, and just to be able to put projects together, and then what has actually touched other people, whether it was helping them with their money, helping them with their business, helping them meet somebody else that actually helped their business. I mean, for me, that's just the ultimate. So it's been a great experience.
So do you have a specific event or something that kind of was the aha moment to say, I know I'm going down the right track, As an entrepreneur, sometimes, we go through this ups and downs,
Right.
but sometimes that one aha moment keeps you going.
I've had a couple, and Roger actually liked this. I remember actually probably 2 years ago in December, we had an event at Five Seasons Brewery. And we were celebrating that we had won Best Accounting Services.
Yeah.
And it was in December, and it was right before the ice storm.
Yes.
So that night when we had the event, I think it was like 30 degrees out, and we still had about 150 people that came out. I was just like...
Didn't you have it like upstairs out in the open?
It was upstairs, but
Yeah.
there was an open space. Nobody was out there.
Yeah, exactly.
But like I just remember thinking about that time where people, really came out, even though the weather was horrible. And that let me know, what, there's a need for this. I mean, people really are supporting the stuff that we're doing. They're really excited about the stuff that we're doing. So with that, we definitely need to continue keeping going with it.
You said you like to educate people about their money and whatnot. So what would be a couple of pointers tax-wise that people may or may not be aware of with all of the changings of the tax laws and whatnot?
The main important thing for anybody is to make sure that they are wanting to get the information. There's a lot of individuals that, have been paying taxes every year. They go through the same process, and they're just used to, okay, I'm going to give somebody my taxes, or I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to take these numbers, put them on a piece of paper, and file them out. I don't want to know anything else about it, with the exception of how much do I get back? That's all I want to know.
I just want to get it over with and get my money.
That's all I want to know. Or how much do I owe? And then let me complain about how much I owe. But really, it's to be open to know that, what? Taxes is something you don't have a choice. You have to do. You have to do. And the number one way of increasing your income without increasing time spent doing something is by paying less in taxes. Number one way. So if somebody says, what? I'd like to have more money in my pocket, but I don't have a lot of time, then learn how to pay less in taxes. Because now you don't have to go get a second job to get $500 or $1,000 or $2,000 or more money in your pocket. So really to be open with what it is that taxes has to involve, because it's something like I said, they have to do it. You don't have a choice.
Right.
So once they are open about learning this information, now it's actually going to find somebody who can actually get them this information and can explain it to them in a way that they actually understand.
And back to the educating, there's all these home-based businesses and people kind of doing I think I want to be an entrepreneur. What's the advantage of not, or disadvantage of not using their social security number versus getting a tax ID number, in that perspective as an entrepreneur?
Well, it's always good to have a clear separation between your personal and your business. Most times people, if they're not separated, they run into trouble.
Okay.
So you definitely want to separate them as much as possible. So when you're talking about your EIN number, which is like your social security number for your business,
Right.
Just creating it like a totally different person, a separate entity. And it's definitely good to make sure that everything is separate. And that way that the lines aren't blurred, monies aren't being managed in both accounts or shared. It just makes it a whole lot easier with, one, tax purposes, and also with growth of the business. If there's things that you can't see, well, did I do that for personal? Did I do that for business? Then it's hard for you to analyze exactly what the business actually needs.
And how, you're taking that leap of faith and that kind of stuff. Is that something that you recommend them to do right away versus waiting a whole year before they see if their business is viable, that kind of thing?
It's definitely good to, with starting a business, is get a very, very strong foundation. So really to do as much research about their business as possible before starting it. But then once you start it, you do want to go ahead and put those things in place. So you do want to obviously come up with a name. And typically once you come up with your name, that's now that new entity. So you definitely want to go ahead and continue that process with getting the EIN number, getting it recognized by the state, getting an actual corporate identity to it. So yeah, I definitely do recommend doing that at the beginning.
Some of the things that you have offered in your education is like a checklist. Is that something that small businesses can get from you? How can they get that from you?
What they could do is they could actually go to our website, which is www.f as in fortune, F as in financial, G as in group, GA as in Georgia.com, ffgga.com. There's some information there, but then they can also email us at cmoore, MOORE, at ffgga.com and try to get some information that way. And we'll definitely be able to help them out any way we can.
And some of the reasons you went into numbers, is that because the way of helping people understand because, we were talking about this before, taxes is a hard thing to understand. And we were just having this conversation with somebody else, Jason Bass. You don't want to do your own business plan. Sometimes you need someone else to give you another perspective. Is that what's your recommendation on that crunching numbers kind of thing?
Here's the thing. I graduated from college. I'm a fairly intelligent person. With that, I have never changed my own oil. Never. I hear that it's easy, but I've never done it.
Right.
I've always paid somebody else to do it. And it's not the whole part of changing the oil, because I'm sure I can do that myself. But I really want somebody to be able to change the oil and then say, hey, you know what, you have this blue thing sticking out of your engine. And I might not know. I might think it's supposed to be there. So really, when it comes to things of your business, you you are capable of doing it yourself, but there might be other things that you don't know. And typically in business, if you don't know them, it's going to cost you a lot of money, especially in taxes.
Yeah, I know. I look at the headlines on the social media, so to speak, and like you said about changing your oil, you have to change it. If you don't, if you just leave it sitting and leave it there, eventually you will get burnt.
Yes. And
the same goes for taxes. If you don't pay them for 3, 4 years, 5 years at the time, you will go to jail.
Yeah.
That's just the bottom line. So, it's great that people such as yourself are out there to let people know, look, you need to do this, and this is how we can effectively show you how to do it so that you don't get yourself in trouble.
Right.
And so when we come back off of break, we're going to get into the meat of why you do what you do and the challenges that you have had doing what you do. We'll see you back in a minute.
Have you recently started a business, or are you thinking about doing so?
Wondering where to start? Looking for advice, or just want to share your story?
If you answered yes, the Better You Network wants to hear from you.
To be a guest on one of our shows, please contact us via Twitter at Better You Project or email us at thebetteryouproject@gmail.com.
Come join us and inspire others.
This offer only valid in the United States and Canada.
Today's episode is brought to you by the book, Laddering, Unlocking the Potential of Consumer Behavior by Eric Holtzclaw. Learn the secret to using consumer behavior to unlock the information you have on your consumers and turn it into successful marketing campaigns and product launches. Available online at Amazon.com and in bookstores starting August 2013. For more information, visit www.ladderingworks.com.
And we're back with Mr. Corey Moore of FFGGA Tax Consultancy and Pro Networker Group. So I'm sorry, but yeah, I had to go there.
I know. I get it.
So as we left back on break, we talked about not doing taxes and what the sometimes painful outcomes can be from that. I guess my question to you is, guys, what's been the hardest part of your journey in doing this?
When it deals with the taxes, when I first started, my goal was to, educate people. So then I thought, okay, where should I go, or what target market should I focus on to help educate? So I said, who really needs this education is low income. So I said, well, great. I'm going to start getting out here to the low income and educate them and show them how they can become middle income to, eventually high income. And I had a very, very blunt wake-up call when I found out that low income really didn't want the information. I had a phone call one day, and the person on the line asked me, how much was our prices? And I said to them, we charge the same way as an H&R Block or Jackson Hewitt by the types and number of forms that we use. But what's different than us, we actually educate, for, included in the price. They then asked me, well, how much is it without the education?
Okay.
Yeah.
All
So, and my personality was, I said, excuse me, just so I can see if they would say it again.
Yeah.
And they did. So what that kind of taught me was, and we had seen something similar to this to some of the other clients that were coming in, but we just weren't getting the actual response that we were looking for.
Okay.
So then that's where I then said, you know what, let us kind of change our focus. Started looking at a demographic that actually cares a little bit more about their money. Typically what we found was that was the middle to high income.
Okay.
Like I said, it was unfortunate because low income really, really needs it. And I'm not saying that everyone that's low income doesn't, care about their money. But as far as the mass is concerned, it is very, very hard teaching somebody something when they don't want the information, or when they don't think that they need the information. So our goal is really now trying to focus on people who, and it can be anybody, focus on people who actually care about their money, and then want that actual information.
So where do you find your best support besides family as an entrepreneur? It can be a lonely world,
It can be. It can be. And it's funny, we were at an event a couple nights ago, and we were talking about how a lot of entrepreneurs kind of feel like they're by themselves until they come to an event.
Yeah.
And then I told them, I was like, yeah, this is kind of like a corporate meeting,
Yeah.
in corporate America where, you're a field agent and you think you're all by yourself, and then you come back to the corporate meeting and now like, oh, everybody having the same problems I'm having. So, family is a good support when it comes to, personal life, when it comes to, at the end of the day, when I don't want to talk business, which is very rare. But really some of the business relationships that I've met, like we're typically all going through the same things. So it's definitely good to be able to have conversations with them and say, hey, call them, hey, how are you doing today? Yeah, and everybody starts off the conversation, yeah, I had this client. So with that, being able to listen to them and then hear things that they're going through and kind of learn things from it, and then they hear from your experiences and learn from it, it makes it a whole lot easier. I mean, it's a really good support system there.
It is. We were just having that. It's like almost like an AA for
That's
entrepreneurs.
exactly what it
when
is.
one is down, the other one's come and pick each other up.
My sponsor, yeah.
Yeah. So who's been a big mentor for you in your process of starting your business?
It's been hard kind of finding certain mentors themselves. I did have a mentor, so do have a mentor in the tax business, Steve Jalal, CPA here in Atlanta. Great guy. Steve came to me one day at an event and said, I've been watching you for the last couple of years. And, most times people, they come in and out of this business, but, you've been pretty consistent. I continue seeing you out here. So with that, if there's anything that you need, let me know. And I thought that was huge because most times people just in business in general, if they have somebody who could be looked at as a competitor, well, they're not going to reach out to them. Oh, this person could steal my business or anything like that. But then also even off of competitorship, business people are busy.
Right.
So to actually reach out to somebody else, to take on, more responsibility to say, hey, if you need something, let me know, was huge for me. And because I'm that type of person as well, it meant a lot. So Steve has actually been a really good guy, being able to help me, with my business, give me information about some of the things that he's doing. It's been a really good relationship.
Wow, that's great. And with most mentors, I know that I've had mentors in the past, and unfortunately some of them, have gone by the wayside or whatever the case may be. But it really taught me how to deal with, business as a grown-up. I mean, it taught me that this is not a game, and there's a lot of surprises.
This is not a game.
No, this is not a game, and there's a lot of surprises out there, which leads me to my next question. Has there been that unexpected surprise in what you have done or what you're currently doing out there?
There has been. It's funny because when I was in corporate America, I remember back, and I think about this often, where I was like, I would really like to have a project that I can work on and develop and grow. And I always remember thinking about that. And now with having, 2 businesses that I'm growing, and then even with inside of the businesses, there's multiple projects that we're growing.
Right.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
It is definitely a lot. And then, you have those experiences to where you find out it might be too much.
No, really?
And I don't want to admit it, and actually don't tell anybody. But
okay.
there's sometimes there's a level to where it might be too much. So just kind of balancing that.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll keep this between us.
Just between us 3, 4 to sit here.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's definitely been. I mean, I've had some great experiences. Some have been harder than others. But definitely all in all, great experiences in business.
So how do you balance all that in your day-to-day life so that you're still Corey Moore at the end of the day?
That's a very good question. Now, if you ask anybody else around me, they might say Corey does not balance that well at all. A lot of people question, do I have a social life? Is there any time that I'm just taking time for myself? I kind of look at it like a person who's training for the Olympics. The Olympics only happen 4 times a year.
Right.
I mean, once every 4 years.
Right.
And when you look at the number of people that try out to be in the Olympics, there's thousands of people who want to be in the Olympics, but only a few of those are going to actually get chosen.
Right.
And that's really based on their work ethic. For me, I look at the things that I'm doing as similar to the Olympics. My goals are fairly lofty, but they're very attainable. So with that actually inspires me to work as hard as possible right now so that when I actually get to that point of the Olympics in business, I can then still perform and then, get the gold. So with that right now, my work life, I work a lot. But it's a little different because I actually enjoy what I do. Like, putting on events, I enjoy doing that. Educating people about their money, I enjoy doing it. So it doesn't feel like work. I mean, even though it is, I'm meeting a lot of people and, building relationships with people. So there's a lot of things that are happening in business that also happen kind of socially as well. Like I said, I'm just having a ball in life right now. So with that, I feel it's balanced, but
Yeah. So what's the biggest advice you could give somebody else that's in your space, in your business space?
I tell them to really be specific in what it is that they want. At the end of the day, what do you want? What do you want that to look like? At the end of the day, where do you see yourself? How does it feel? They say envision what it is that you want to accomplish. Well, actually go there. Some people are like, yeah, I want $1 million. Okay, well, what exactly does that look like? Oh, this is what I'm going to do with it. And actually see yourself there. And then create a plan on how to get there. Make sure that plan is feasible. I've talked to so many people who are like, yeah, I want to make $1 million this year. And they start laughing, and I'm looking at them serious, like, okay, what are you going to do to do that? And I think they think that it's a goal, but it's not obtainable. It's not attainable to them. So what happens is, they kind of joke it off and they don't do it. Whereas, have a goal that you feel that is tangible, and then plot it out of how you're going to do it, and then put one foot in front of the other. And if you do that, over time, you will reach your goal. One foot in front of the other. Something that simple.
Well, and I love that fact that you kind of, in some aspects, not accidentally got Pro Networker started just based on something that you were already doing.
Yeah.
So you want to tell people that story?
Yeah, Pro Networker got started with really me when in my tax business. When I went to a networking event and got a client, I was like, "Oh wow, that's easy." So wait a minute, you meet somebody who needs you. They then buy your service. Oh, what a grand concept there.
Exactly.
So I said, oh, well, I guess I need to meet more people. Great. Where is the only place that exists where there's a group of people who actually want to know what I do? A networking event. So I started going to networking events all the time. And then I got a phone call from somebody that said, hey, did you go to that networking event last night? I was like, what networking event? They were like, oh, it was great. You missed it. Oh, they had shrimp and lobster. Oh, everybody had stacks of cash in their hand, and they were ready to buy everybody's service. And there was investors there, and they were paying people $1 million for their bill. I was like, wow, I really missed a great event.
Wow.
So I said, I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again. So as I started learning about events, I then started telling people, as I learn about an event, I'm going to let you know about it. So I then started shooting an email to people. Hey, I'm going to be here. Hey, I'm going to go here. As I go to the event, I start meeting more people. So more people started wanting to know about these events. And before you know it, I started with Outlook, sending out these emails.
Oh, wow.
And then, and I don't know if anybody's done this, but once you start getting to sending about 1,000 people out on, you got to put them in groups.
Yeah.
And then you got to send out the groups, and it takes forever. You can't just hit send and it's gone. No, you got to wait a while. So I said, there got to be an easier way. So then that's where we moved over to Constant Contact. And as the list started growing, the event started growing, and then there popped in a Pro Networker. So very happy with how we transitioned to it. We then started not only just letting people know about different events that were happening, but we then started having events ourselves. We started seeing some lacks in some of the places where people had events. So we said, hey, why don't we create this ourselves? And lo and behold, we had some success in it. So despite the rain. So that's where we're at today.
But, rain makes things grow. Think about that.
Rain does make things grow.
Yeah. Once again,
growing the network, right?
Before we went on the air, he stole my tagline: "No rain, no game." So
there you go.
Like I said, I'm just
and it's taken.
I'm gonna have to get that in writing first before you use it, because I want some kickbacks. I'm just gonna put it out there right now. But yes, it's the actual networking events are very informative and very good, and the fact that people do come out in the rain is a testament. So that being said, when we come back from break, we're going to talk about what success looks like for you in the future, and for your company and for your organization. We'll be right back.
Eric Holtzclaw is an expert and evangelist on the new world of product design and marketing to consumers. His keynote topics and workshops are derived from knowledge gained during his 20-plus year career as a serial entrepreneur and his work at Laddering Works. This gives him the unique opportunity to interview thousands of people a year and understand their core drivers and motivations. Eric is the perfect resource for keynote presentations, marketing and team building workshops, brainstorming, and ideation session moderation. Contact him today at www.ericholtzclaw.com. Again, contact him today at www.ericholtzclaw.com. Listen to our interviews with Eric in the archives at www.thebetteryouNetwork.com. You are listening to People with a Purpose on the Better You Network and A to Zen.fm channel.
Okay, we are back with Mr. Corey Moore here. The multitasker is what I call him. If you need a resource, go call Corey. And ironically, this is how it comes into full circle. We're here at the radio station.
Mm-hmm.
We met Q.
Yes.
Q's the one that helped us get the radio station.
How about that?
And Q introduced us.
Yes, she did.
See, it comes
Yes,
all in the
she
full
did.
circle there.
Yes, she did. That's right. Because I met Q years ago. And then that's right. She did put us together.
She's like, I know you who you need to meet. He knows everybody in Atlanta. We hadn't been here very long. And I think that was probably one of the best advice you gave us was, go out there, network, kind of see where is a good fit for you. I think a lot of people just come to a city without really getting to know the culture very well.
Right.
Instead of, Roger and I had researched Atlanta and what the value is, but the culture is always another situation.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely important. Definitely important.
So what's on your radar? What's going on with your two little companies? What's your plan for 2013?
For 2013, right now, the tax business is doing well, which is good. I mean, it's tax season for us right now, so people are calling, which is great. I actually have some tax consultants, a part of the group, where I'm helping them build their business a little bit more. So with that, my focus on that, helping them a little bit more in the taxes versus myself. So that I can actually focus a little bit more time and attention to Pro Networker. Pro Networker right now being the resource center for business events. We really have some exciting things that are happening in 2013. One thing right now, we have Strictly Business that's going on. And, the running joke for Strictly Business is the rain. We started in September, so we've had 6 events. The last 4 have been in the rain. So it's been really, really interesting, to say the least. But the one thing that has been happening is last Monday when we had the event, we had 200 people out, which was phenomenal.
It is phenomenal for weather-wise.
Yeah, so because most times people here in Georgia, they don't even want to go outside. They'll look out the window. Oh, it's raining. I'm not going.
Yeah.
Regardless of if it deals with putting more money in their pocket or not. So for that to happen, it's great. Our goal is for that event to actually become the largest monthly business networking event in Atlanta. I feel once we hit 300, we will take that title. I think we're the largest right now, but I'll wait till we have 300, which we should have had 300, but it's been raining. So with that, hopefully that'll actually happen in March, knock on wood. But we have a new tagline, no rain, no gain, for that event.
To you by Roger Vaughn of the Unity Group and LLC.
Our new tagline. So yes. So with that, we're definitely wanting to actually get that event. My goal is to get 300 in March and get 400 to 500 people by May.
And specifically, what days in March as the events go?
March 11th is our next one. Strictly Business happens the second Monday of each month.
Okay.
So in March, it is March 11th, April 8th. So that's our focus with that. Also, we're going to be doing a workshop this year. We're actually in the works on that right now. We are going to be doing another series of events as well, which happen quarterly. We're looking at having our first one May or June for that. We're in the works of putting that together right now. We have quite a bit of activity. My goal is that once I actually get out of tax season, to really focus on these events. And for us on the events, just so people know, everybody goes to a networking event, great. But typically what happens is they experience just meeting people. Okay. Hopefully those people are good people, but meeting people. Our goal is for people to actually come to an event and actually have a different type of experience, whether it's the venue itself, whether it's the food that is there, whether it's the whatever the case is, something that's just going to be a little bit different than where they experience at other events. So that is our goal with this. And Strictly Business has been my baby. I truly, truly love Strictly Business. It's, I've been going to so many different events. I know like you have, Stacey and Roger, that networking has such a bad name right now.
It does.
A very bad name. And the problem is because people want to put this they want to bring this professional crowd out.
Right.
So the way to bring out a professional crowd is to put the word networking on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really hookup. It's really after hours. There's, come out to our networking event 9 p.m. to 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, no, you can't do that. So now when people of us that really are actually having true business networking events, people look at the word and like, I don't know what that's going to be. So that was my goal with Strictly Business, to create it so people knew exactly what was going to happen there. Mm-hmm. So what happens there? Business.
Well, speaking of business, in your opinion, what should for-profit businesses, and for that matter, nonprofit business, be focused on for the next year?
And the reason I created Pro Network is because I believe in one thing. If you have a for-profit business, or if you have a nonprofit business, or if there's anything that you're looking at doing extra, you need to meet people. Mm-hmm. You have to meet people. The more people are just resources, the same way money is resources. Mm-hmm. Well, so are people.
Right.
And sometimes they say, you're either going to have cash, or you're going to have credit. If you don't have one, you need to have the other. Yeah. It's the same thing as far as resources with people. If you don't have money, know a lot of people. Because if you know a lot of people, money will typically follow. So with that, to get out there and meet as many people as possible and start building relationships with people, because I attest everything that we have done by me meeting people and me having resources for that. Had I not met the people that I've met, I couldn't have accomplished half the things that I've done. Because it's all about, like I said, problem solving. And typically, if you don't have the answer, somebody else does. But you got to meet them first.
So what does success look for you, like Corey Moore? What would that be?
Aside from money.
Aside from money.
He's like, what else is there?
What else? Is there anything that's successful? No. Honestly, for me, and even aside from money, it's definitely not having to worry about money. For me, because I'm back to my options, being able to do whatever it is that I want to do, whether it is stay home for 6 months, whether it is take a trip someplace, whether it is, once I, have a family, go see my child, take them to first day of school, whatever the case is, just to be able to have the option to do whatever my heart desire does. For me, that's success, not having to worry about anything else. The other part is to kind of help other people get to that place. If I can actually help other people pay their bills, grow their business, and actually get to their place of success, yeah, that's awesome to me.
I don't think they only need one Corey Moore. I don't think a little Corey Moore would be a little much there.
I'm gonna tell you,
he could be a weatherman.
The little one could be a weatherman for you. There you go.
Whatever you need, let you know.
I'm
That's
telling
right.
you, once I, get married, have a family, and all that stuff, there's gonna be just a team of little Corys running around here, just taking over the world.
Well, folks, there you have it. Corey is officially single. So, no.
Married to the business.
Married to the business. So you're going to have some competition there. But that's great. I mean, like I said, success comes in many facets, with many people. And to see someone successful, and we've often talked about this, to see someone else successful based upon our works, that's one of the best feelings or richest feelings you could ever have.
Yeah. So, agreed.
With that being said, we'll come back after station break and wrap it up for Mr. Corey Moore, and see you then. Today's episode is brought to you by the DUnity Group of Atlanta, your ultimate business resource solution in competing for government-based contracts and grants. For more information, send all inquiries to info@theunitygroup.com. Once again, for more information, send all inquiries to info@theunitygroup.com.
Have you ever considered hosting your own show?
Do you want to use your expertise to make a difference?
If this sounds like you, come be part of our growth.
We're changing the world, one guest at a time.
For more information on being a host on the Better You Network, contact us at thebetteryouproject@gmail.com.
Okay, and we're back with Corey Moore, and as this show is about what makes a better you, Corey, what about this journey has made a better you?
I definitely think that for myself, I'm very analytical. I do a lot of self-reflection, always continually trying to make myself better. Anytime that you create something new, it's kind of stretching yourself. And you're always going to learn new things while you're doing that. Me being able to recognize, some other weaknesses that I may have, some other strengths that I may have that didn't know about. I definitely feel that the path that I've taken has definitely put me in a position to where I feel myself getting stronger.
Right.
Whether it's business or personally. It's been a great journey. It's been a great journey.
Well, and that, being said, you're a man after my own heart, so to speak, because out of the two of us, I'm the more analytical and in some aspects self-reflective on a lot of aspects. And, I think sometimes you have to do that. You have to do that with me to keep balance.
Right.
Because, if I just keep going and going and going,
Right.
then, at some point I have to, I may have missed something that is very important to me.
Right.
And not only important to me, but important to my partner as well.
Right.
So,
They call that analyzing by paralysis.
analysis paralysis.
Exactly.
It can get to that point.
And it's probably good having that balance, finding another entrepreneur to have that discussion with, because they're going through the same thing. I think we saw this little trend, like we were having this discussion New Year. We're like, isn't the New Year taking a little longer to get like spunked up a little bit? And we're noticing now, we're almost in March and things are starting to really.
Almost in March. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's starting to hop,
Yeah.
definitely. So Corey, talk about your event and how they can find that. Talk about your websites, how a good place to get a hold of you, phone numbers, those kind of things.
Okay. For the tax business, it's Fortune Financial Group. If somebody wanted to check us out, they can go to the website, www.ffgga.com. If they wanted to call our office, they can call 678-921-2929. And for us, we're into, like I said, educating people with their taxes. We do individuals and we do small businesses. We specialize in small businesses because we are small business owners. But for any individual that wants to really get out there and meet more people, they want to find different networking events that are happening around Atlanta, you definitely want to go to pronetworker.com. and be able to see a list of different networking events that are going on there. If you want us to email you this list once a week, you can actually sign up for the actual newsletter on the website. Also, when you look at the website, if you're interested in coming to Atlanta's newest, liveliest, wettest networking event for business owners, then definitely check out Strictly Business, which is also on that site, or you can go to S as in Strictly, B as in business, event.net. And that is the Strictly Business website.
So on the newsletter, that's free, right? For them
Free
to
newsletter, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. I like that because you can check whatever area of Metro Atlanta. It's not all.
Exactly, yeah. It's all over. We have events on there. Atlanta, Buckhead, all that. Alpharetta, Kennesaw, Stone Mountain, all over Atlanta, Metro Atlanta. So, yeah.
Well, great. Like I said, it has been an extreme pleasure having you on the show, Corey. You've presented some very insightful information when it regards to taxes and also for networking. Just folks, as you go out to these networking events, please make sure that you check the weather before you go. And
no rain, no pain.
No rain, no pain,
No gain.
no
No
gain.
gain. That's right. I get it.
With that being said, just remember, what are you going to do to make yourself a better you? And we'll see you next week.
Today's episode is brought to you by CoLab. CoLab serves entrepreneurs by creating a collaborative environment for mentor-driven startup acceleration, business planning, and access to potential investors and customers. CoLab's passion is creatives and small business owners. For more information, visit CoLab at colab.is. Again, for more information, visit CoLab at colab.is.